Was good? It's your man, 100 Grand Ross with The Rock Never Stops. Getting set up here, getting the game queued up. Got my league pass set ready to go. Got my water. This is a really exciting thing that I love to do. It's called scouting. It's called scouting. If you've ever been in coaching, you've been asked to go scout a team before you get ready to play them. It's an opportunity to take a look at what a team is doing to be effective against what types of lineups, what types of actions, what types of defense, who's stepping up for them, who's absent, who's in a slump. All these different things come into play as you are observing a team that you're about to prepare for. So it's an opportunity for us to do that together. This is a long break. It's an opportunity to fill it with other aspects of what it means to critique, what it means to have a channel that's saying, hey, I'd like to offer some insight into the games, current games that are happening, before games are happening, and afterwards. And so this is the thing that I like to do. Normally I do it on my own before I do some of these videos, but today you get a chance to do it with me. Now, I will like to posit that some of my insights are reflective of my background as a personal trainer and athletic therapy, athletic training and physical therapy. Uh, I used to work with different athletes from professional boxers, track and field runners, basketball players, of course, football players at the collegiate level, semi-pro level, guys getting ready for draft stuff. Uh, yeah, just had a lot of opportunities to work with a lot of different people, and then also coaching at the community college level in different developmental spaces, etc., and just what it means to uh, prepare a team for competition. There's just a lot of work goes into it. This is where the Eric Spoelstras got started in doing film studies, film breakdown, clipping film, and putting it together for players to say like, hey, you need to be looking at this when you're facing this opponent, and in these types of lineups, you need to be aware of these types of actions. And you can break it down in a lot of different ways, percentages, especially with a lot of the advanced, not algorithms, but the advanced statistics and these measurement platforms that can illustrate where someone is shooting at a high percentage from. They shade it and things like that. So there's a lot that you can do in this. I'm not going to go that far into it, but I am going to give you insight into my thinking, into my thought process. So it's an opportunity for you to delve into that with me. We're about to start the 76ers versus Milwaukee Bucks game that took place last night in preparation for the Pistons Bucks game tomorrow. But before we get started, if you haven't already, smash the like button for me. Hit subscribe and the bell for notifications. It really helps out the channel a lot. Remember, it's a little thing for y'all, but it's a big thing for me and the channel. So press a little like button if you're enjoying the video, enjoying this live film study review of the Milwaukee Bucks and 76ers. And I do like to get to the chat as much as I can. So I want to start off here. Blackheart 4360. What's good, my man? What's good? I will say it's all on if Giannis plays. It all points to no. So we're 15-2 in my eyes already. See, I'm gonna be honest with you. That thinking is what gets good teams beat. This is the NBA, my guy. This is the NBA, the most talented league in the world. You know who also used to train with Dennis Jenkins' trainer, who's having a hell of a season as well? Ryan Rollins. Ryan Rollins, who just dropped 32 and 14, 32 points, 6 rebounds, 14 assists. That's what he just did against Philly, right? Those are like Cade Cunningham numbers. I'm not saying he's Cade Cunningham. I'm saying that you can't take anybody for granted. You can't take anybody for granted. Um, and best believe Bobby Portis, who put up 19 and 8 against the Philadelphia 76ers, has always been a starting caliber power forward in the NBA. He just played behind Giannis and Brook Lopez because he wanted to be a part of a winning team, and they paid him to do so, right? But he could have easily been a starting power forward for a lot of people. He could have been a better starting power forward in Chicago the past 5, 6 years, right? He could have been a better starting power forward for a lot of teams because of his skill on the inside and outside. So there are a lot of things to keep in mind about this game coming up. Kyle Kuzma's been playing really good basketball for Milwaukee. Miles Turner, he always destroys us. He really exploits Jalen Duren's inability to cover that 3-point line. And I think a lot of those things will be in play. AJ Green is having a strong year as that 3 and D wing defender, shooter. So there's a lot of things that I'm going to be checking out. Randy Osborne, 1472 was good, my man. This channel's a breath of fresh air. Blessings, my brother. Blessings to you too, and salute to you for being here in the chat and showing love. I really appreciate that. I really do. Without further ado, let's get this game started. This was, I believe, their first full game without Giannis. Maybe the second, but this is the first one that I've been tracking. In this game, there's a lot of things that I'm considering. One, you have the impact of not just Giannis's injury, but also Joel Embiid's injury and what it means for the Philadelphia 76ers. We faced them twice, beat them twice, but we've recognized that Tyrese Maxey, VJ Edgecombe, Quentin Grimes, that is a backcourt trio that gives most teams problems. Then you add in Jared McCain, who's having his comeback year. They have as strong a backcourt as you can want. However, it's not the best defensive backcourt, and so we were able to exploit that to a large extent. Then you also have Paul George making his return and playing some good basketball for them, really filling in as that kind of skilled glue guy in the front court. At 6'9", his ability to pass the ball, to facilitate at the top of the key, to be able to be a rangy defender, though he's not an athletic defender, he's a rangy defender. With that 7'2" wingspan, he can get into passing lanes. He can be a smart positional defender, be in the right spot. So he'll be expected to kind of hold down Kyle Kuzma, a little bit of Bobby Portis, right? He's physically stronger and bigger, so he has that ability to prevent post-ups. He's not just going to get back down. So when he's facing Stu and Duren, don't expect Paul George to just give ground. He definitely has the grown man strength. He's a full-on dad. You know what I mean? He's a full-on dad. Grown man. Over 30. He has that I've been through shit in my life strength. Versus some of the young guys. And I'm not saying they haven't been through stuff, but there's a different type of strength when you've been picking up kids and picking up stuff for work and grinding. Your body naturally hardens, and just from a biological, physiological standpoint, bones harden over time. So he's definitely has that strength that offers the Philadelphia 76ers a different dynamic within their front court. So we're going to watch how it all plays out. We're looking at the starting lineups here. We're getting ready to dive in any moment. Before I get started, are there any questions you have about this game that you want me to address or look for as I get started? I'm always glad to kind of take those things in mind as we prepare to begin to look at these two teams. It's interesting, the starting lineup. Justin Edwards is in the starting lineup for Philadelphia. They got Justin Edwards and Paul George. Previously starting, what's his name, Watkins at the 4. So now you got Paul George, Justin Edwards, who's a floor spacer, about 6'7", decent athlete, but mostly a floor spacer. Yeah, my daughter's over here laughing at me. She's like 6'7", 6'7", these kids. See, Blackheart 4360. Do you think Uncle T be back this game? Tobias Harris, I don't know, and I'm not really betting on it. I think he should be back. It would be great if he's back to see what that bench rotation looks like. I think if Tobias Harris is back in that bench rotation, it squeezes Ron Holland's minutes a bit because if you have Karras, if you got Karras and Ron and Tobias all in that kind of forward wing role, it's going to squeeze minutes. And then you still got Chaz in there. You still got a lot of other guys getting playing time. All right, so we're starting this game immediately. So one thing you always kind of keep in mind is the first thing you see offensively from a team. That first play after a tip ball is a set play. It will tell you exactly what this team wants to exploit. And immediately Philly goes to Paul George, gets a mismatch on him. He goes right at his defender, scores in the paint, right at the rim. So they want to get Paul George activated for this game. But then Ryan Rollins immediately attacks VJ Edgecombe. and he gets the floater right over Drummond. Tyrese Maxey is giving VJ Edgecombe a couple of tips. He's like, look, man, you can't just open up. So that's good communication between them. Definitely playing the big brother in the fraternity type of deal. Paul George. Oh, so Bobby Portis goes under the screen on Paul George, and Paul George makes him pay for it. Knocks down the tray ball. It's now 5-2 Philadelphia. That's not a good sign for Philadelphia. I don't know why Bobby Portis would go under a screen on Paul George, maybe to protect against the drive, but no closeout against Paul George, giving up a wide open three was a bad start. Bobby Portis gets it back though with a putback for two, so it's 5-4 Philadelphia. Let me see, Doug McMenamin. Hey, it was good. It's good to see you in the chat. Good afternoon, my friend. Good afternoon. What do you think of Doc Rivers' effect? Say hi to your daughter. Yeah, Shasha. The chat says hey. She says hi. The Doc Rivers effect is not just the Doc Rivers, also Rajon Rondo is doing this thing. Rajon Rondo has got these guards ready. Ryan Rollins, Cole Anthony are playing some of their best ball of their careers by far. And I think a lot of that is Rajon Rondo working with them. And here comes Paul George off the off-ball screen for the wide open, not wide open three, but the movement three. This is why you don't want to give up open threes early, ever. Like ever, 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 ever. You just don't want to do it because these NBA players are so confident. Once you get them going a little bit, once you give them that like visual of their shot going in, their eyes get big. And generally for the rest of the game, they become a problem. They become a problem. Let me see. Yeah, so Doc Rivers doing a good job in Milwaukee. I mean, as best as you can when you have injuries and you're dealing with a lot of roster fluctuation and trying to play younger guys. There's just a learning curve for that. 76ers need to do something about that 100 million on the bench. Uh, yeah, I mean, it's easier said than done. But, who knows? There might be a team that's tanking and doesn't mind taking on that contract. But I think there's too many years still left on that contract. Miles Turner misses his first three um, of the game, which I think is probably a mistake. I would have had one of the first shots being Miles Turner, a drawn up play for Miles Turner to get an open three. You get him going, spreading the floor against an opposing team, and it's going to be a long night for the opposing big. Let me see, Paul George hits another shot. Wow, he's got what, all 11? Does he have all 11? He doesn't have all. I think he has like what, two threes, three threes. No, I think he does have all 11 points for Philadelphia to start this game. Uh, Not a good sign for Milwaukee. It's going to be a long night for them, but they're in their actions, running their offense. I mean, the thing is, what I do love is Doc Rivers teams, at least to me, you always have a sense of they know what they're doing. Like they know what they're trying to, even if you don't agree with the rotations or the different looks, how it looks, you always look at it and it looks like everyone knows exactly what's expected of them. They are running their offense. They're in their spots. They're getting the shots that they are deeming that they want, even if you don't agree with it. Um, Let me see. Doug McMenamin, should we worry about Cole Anthony, Cole Anthony's defense? He has already had a few flagrant fouls this year. He's an NBA player and he seems to be reckless at times. So I'll put it this way. If he dives at somebody's legs again and hurts them, somebody needs to pull him in a back room, in a locker room, and whoop his ass. That's how we used to handle it back in the day. If you hurt somebody in a game, being reckless, especially if it's not your first time, they might try to check you there on the court. You might drive down the middle and you get undercut, you get knocked down, you fall and you feel it too. And sometimes they just, I'll see you in the locker room. You're playing with people's careers, playing with people's livelihood, you're playing with people's, you know, uh, ability to support themselves and their families. Recklessness should never be um, It should never be something that you're okay with in this regard, especially because as athletes, it's devastating to have those types of injuries. It's devastating, and the impact, like I think about Jaden Ivey's impact on his financial situation right now, right? Like he's still trying to fight for what he believes that he's worth. Had he not had that injury and he maintained, more than likely a few things happen. One, we get to the second round, we beat the Knicks. I 100% believe that. If we have Ivy, we beat the Knicks, and probably end with a better record. And he's already re-signed, right? So that's literally, that injury took money out of his family's pocket, out of his family's account. He now is in this financial instability because of that reckless play. That's directly at Cole Anthony. That was a byproduct of your decisions, of your choice, and so that's a reality. Um, yeah. Okay. Bucks have a whole bunch of veterans here. Previous players on the front row. They got Michael Redd and Brandon Jennings. I would say Michael Redd was a far better player than Brandon Jennings ever was for the Bucks. Um, but he's probably more famous now because he's on the podcast with Gil. So Philadelphia pushing tempo against the Bucks and how they deal with this transition defense. I think this is good insight into what we might be able to exploit as well. Our guards, especially Dennis Jenkins, getting that athleticism, getting downhill, getting to the basket early before the front court, Kuzma, Turner, Bobby Portis can get back in transition. I don't see Bobby Portis as a transitional big. So if we can run against him, all the better. Um, Drummond with the block on Kyle Kuzma. Kyle Kuzma sometimes is just I don't want to say out of control, but he's always plays on that edge of like, should you be trying this? But he's also one of those guys where if he sees a couple shots go down early, you could be in for a long night. And that's most NBA players. But he plays with a lot of confidence, that's all to say. Miles Turner misses his second three. Like I said, they should have started off the game with him getting a play ran for him and a wide open look. He's struggling to get going early on in the first quarter. Ryan Rollins with good D on Paul George. Miles Turner struggling on the offensive glass, on the defensive glass. That is something that we should be able to exploit. I often say, if we can establish Duren early, it will give us a distinct advantage, especially if they're an opposing big who's able to put pressure on you. You need to impose your will first. You need to be the first one to punch in the face, um, rather than allowing Miles Turner to get himself going. Ryan Rollins gets downhill for a lay, actually a really nice lay, a really nice lay. A 6'5" lead guard. Uh, he's he's someone we're going to have to pay attention to. He's coming into his own right now, and he's playing with great confidence. Let me see. Is it just me inside? Yo, what's good? It's good to see you in the chat, brother. Salute to you. He has already been thrown out of game this season. Rocky ruined the Pistons last season, and to some respect, this one Cole Anthony. Yeah, it's Cole Anthony. Um, as a player, I like his game. Respect to him and his journey for getting to the NBA, but that recklessness is just a no for me. It's just a no. It's a hard no. I can't do that. I can't do that. I can't condone that. Bobby Portis is a wild card for me. Doug McMenamin. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. Bobby Portis's ability to hit you from inside and out. He can shoot that three ball at volume, and he can also post up mismatches. He's someone that I think Isaiah Stewart should be able to contain really well. We just have to be very attentive. Both of them can spread the floor, and if I'm Doc Rivers, immediately I'm running plays for Bobby Portis and Miles Turner to get open 3-point looks. Maybe some level of a guard screen for them, um, and get a switch, attack downhill, get a little pick and pop, and seeing if you can get their 3-point shooting going. Let me see. So let me rewind this real quick because they just ran another play. Milwaukee just ran this play here that got Kyle Kuzma a look. So dribble handoff. I think it's going to be with Ryan Rollins and Kyle Kuzma, and he's going to curl this. Uh, he's going to curl this and get right to the rim. Kyle Kuzma is athletic. He's a player, yo. Um, Yeah, we just need to be on our P's and Q's. I think Asara Thompson being back in the starting lineup, starting against Kyle Kuzma, should be able to shut that down. He should be able to shut that down. Right now, Ryan Rollins is getting to the rim at will. He misses here on this attempt, but he's showing the ability like he can get downhill when he wants to. And Tyrese Maxey can't really do nothing with him. Um, that is something that, like I said, this is a team like, and this is what I'm concerned about with the Bucks. If you take them for granted, they will beat you. If you take them for granted, they will beat you. They will be prepared, they will be locked in, they will compete, and they have talent. They don't have the top end talent that we have, but they're going to force you to play great to beat them. That's what good teams do. That's what Doc Rivers teams do. They are going to minimize silly fouls. They're going to not give up a bunch of offensive rebounds. They're going to do the little things, set solid screens. Uh, they're going to make sure that they are communicating on defense and on offense. They're going to execute. You have to play extremely well to beat them. If we are locked in, we should win this game handedly. Right? We should win this game handedly. And I mean by at least probably double figures. If we're not locked in, if we let Duran and Portis get off from three early, it will be a long night. I think we can still pull it out because we'll have the better closer, but it'll be another indication like, damn, we're still figuring ourselves out. Kyle Kuzma gets downhill again. Maple 1660, welcome to the chat. Welcome to the chat. It's good to see you. I don't know if I've seen you before. Maybe it's been a while. Blackheart, I thought Asar had a minutes restriction. I don't think that was a long lasting minutes restriction. He had an ankle injury. He played last game and then he had 3 days off. He should be ready to go. He should be ready to go. Um, yeah, so he should be back in the starting lineup. I think they want as much as possible to keep their starting lineup together for as many reps as they can get so they have a chance to really observe what it looks like, what they look like playing together. Cole Anthony with some good defense on Quentin Grimes, staying in front of him. Kyle Kuzma fouling Tyrese Maxey on the drive, struggling a little bit to stay in front of him, but you know, who doesn't? Um, Let me see. 12-13 sounds good to me for Oklahoma City in February at home, um, and March in OKC floor. Um, are you saying? What are you saying? What are you saying? Is it just me? I'm sorry, I don't understand what you're asking. Ryan Rollins is from Dallas. Yeah, he is. He is. Um, oh no. He's not from Dallas. That's Dennis Jenkins and Tyrese Maxey. Uh, are you saying that Ryan Rollins is from Detroit? Ooh, Justin Edwards is playing some D for Philly. He's playing some D for Philly. That is for sure. That is for sure. His second deflection and steal from the top of the key, at point of attack. Ryan Rollins trying to set up Bobby Portis. Bobby Portis is nice, y'all. Oh, he's talking the Pistons rotation lineup, rotation players. Yeah, we've got mad rotation, bro. I mean, it's not really gonna go past 10. That's just too many to rotate in. You're gonna go with your best 10, but I think Ron Ron Holland probably gets squeezed out. It's really hard to look at these veterans who are playing for contracts this year and say this rookie is going to take your minutes, especially if he's not producing and playing better than you. He may have more talent, but there's a big difference between talent and production. Um, and he's got 2 more years on his rookie deal, so there's really no rush. More of an opportunity for him to continue to develop. Damn, Justin Edwards with another knockaway. Man, Justin Edwards is playing some serious perimeter point of attack defense. Um, I'm telling you, Philly, by the time that we face Philly again with Paul George back, this is not going to be the same team. And we should never expect a team to be the same. Um, Gary Trent Jr. has a nice little game to him coming off the bench now. Uh, ooh, Tyrese Maxey tried to boom on Bobby Portis. Tries to boom on him. Bobby Portis ain't having that. Fouled his ass in the air. Oh, wait a second, hold on. They got a Kevin Porter Jr. injury update. I want to hear this real quick. I'll let y'all listen in.
Moving shots. I did a lot of moving today. Today was the best day, I would say, as far as movement and cardio and things like that. But I think now I'm at the place where I'm trying to, get my body back active. Being down like that, definitely, I don't have my endurance, so I'm trying to get that back right and ramp up and keep the swelling down. So those are the main things that we're paying attention to right now. But it's been good. The progression been going good.
All right. So that is an update on the Kevin Porter injury. Remember, I keep saying Kevin Porter Jr. is their second best talent on that team behind Giannis. Um, if he's still talking about keeping swelling down, that's a sign that he's not coming back anytime soon. There should be no swelling. There should be zero swelling. And I mean after workouts, after going hard, there should be no swelling. If there is, it's a sign he's still weeks away, at least, at least. But Kevin Porter Jr. is a talent. Make no mistake about that. Make no mistake. On the offensive end at 6'5", the athleticism, the floor vision, the ball handling, the confidence, the shooting is tremendous. Milwaukee runs this little swing, weak side, uh, pick and roll between Gary Trent and Jericho Sims for a monster alley-oop and jam. I'm telling you, man, Doc River teams, man, they just execute. They execute, and their plays out of timeouts, second to none. Second to none. So Gary Harris is in the game for Milwaukee. I like Gary Harris. He's one of those dudes that's just like, he's just a professional. He's a guy that you want on your team, and those guys cannot be understated. Um, really expect more and more as the Detroit Pistons continue to march into their championship window. Guys like Duncan Robinson, Karis LeVert, maybe even Tobias Harris, they're going to look good in our system. JB Bickerstaff will highlight them and allow them to thrive within the system. But here's the downside of that. When they thrive, they will likely price themselves out of what the Pistons are willing to re-sign them for because they're having to re-sign their younger guys. Like when the Pistons re-sign Ivy and Duren, likely both will get over 30 million a year, combined with Cade's contract. You now are going to be more and more squeezed for minutes, or not just minutes, sorry, salary. So Duncan Robinson, if he wants to get anything close to 20 million again, which I wouldn't be shocked. I mean, he's proving he could be a volume 3-point shooter. It's going to be tough. Oh yeah, and Dennis Jenkins. We got to re-sign Jenkins too. Thank you, Blackheart. So we got to re-sign Ivy, Duren, and Jenkins. That will probably be our top three. And then we will have, I think, Paul Reed is also a free agent too, man. Like, this is crazy. So we will have a lot of guys that we need to re-sign. Duren and Ivy will be at the top of the list. I think Dennis Jenkins will be number 3. And then we'll look at between Paul Reed, Tobias Harris. We'll know by the end of the season who our priorities are, but the young guys for sure will be. These veterans who will likely be bench players, will likely be more so like, hey, either it's a team friendly deal or you're just a situational veteran. You're here for a year or two. And Gary Harris is somebody who could fit that bill in the future. Gary Harris might be somebody who's like, yeah, you come in and play this niche role. And I know we also got Chaz Lanier as well, but in case he's not ready, you just need those veterans you can depend upon. And so that would be somebody we would take a look at, I believe. Man, Philly is just generating turnover after turnover against Milwaukee, and it's leading to wide open looks for them. Milwaukee is not taking care of the ball. You know, if Asar in the starting lineup, along with Cade and Stu and Duran, can continue to generate turnovers, that would be a huge plus for us against the Bucks. Pressuring them at the point of attack, using your wingspan to get in those passing lanes, and see if we can turn them over. What about Javonte Green? Is he a veteran worth keeping for scrappiness? He will, yes, but he's also further down the totem pole. He's an undersized wing forward who is not as skilled as a Tobias Harris, but JB Biggerstaff trusts him, and that is big time. That he's trusted, and so expect that to be a difference maker in looking to re-sign him. But I don't think most veterans, after we re-sign Ivy, Duran, Dennis, we're not going to be spending more than $10 million a year for a veteran. Period. We might keep one veteran on the wings to play between, because we'll have Dennis back, we'll have Chaz Lanier still, we'll have Bobby Klintman in year 3, so expect him to get some burn, and Ron Holland. Yeah, Paul Reed might be our most important retained veteran just because of the position that he plays. Yeah, because you're going to want to give Bobby Klintman, and usually year 3 is where guys kind of pop. You know, their bodies are stronger. They've been around the game. They know expectations. They know what defenses are looking like, what it means to play their role and position. We will want to see what we have in Bobby Klintman before we make a move, but also we will insulate ourselves with a couple of really good vets, especially because Chaz Lanier will be in year 2. We don't know necessarily who he will be or Bobby, so we don't want to be dependent upon those guys. Ron Holland will certainly have a bigger role next year, probably in that Karis LeVert type of role. Do some more shot creation, energy, defense, rebounding, etc. That's a good question. Watching this game, Milwaukee continues to execute, even though they struggle with playmaking. So they really depend upon executing plays. Cole Anthony is a primary playmaker. I think Dennis Jenkins being deployed against Cole Anthony, keeping him reined in, should slow down their offense off the bench. Let me see. Is it just me with the question? Do you think when the time comes in year 3, will Ron Holland be that guy or just Asar Thompson? Well, Asar is that guy. He's just his explosive defensive plays are everything, bro. Like he's game changing defensive player. He's on another level. He's first team all defense. Milwaukee Bucks with the execution for the 3 by Bobby Portis. Like I said, you got to rein in Bobby Portis. Can't let him get loose from 3 early in a game. Otherwise, he can really hurt you, especially against Stu and Duran, who struggle more to contain on the perimeter, especially bigs that can shoot it. Ooh, good transition. Gary Harris just makes great plays for Milwaukee. I think Ron Holland will also start showing to be that guy as well. He'll be in year 3. He will fine tune a lot of that handle that we want him to improve upon. Expect to see him do a lot of playmaking, especially in like summer runs Like if anything, like if I'm Ron Holland's people, I send them to like Rico Hines where they can train and then they can just hoop against one another. They can straight up hoop. You know what I mean? Like that's what we want to see. We want to see him having an opportunity to be creative with his handle, show that he can execute some of his moves that he was doing in the G League, that he was doing in high school, play his game, do what you do, you know? Let's see that handle fully unleashed. Doug was good, man. Ross, sorry for not being around as life happens. So I did catch a Ron Holland analysis. What do you think will help him slow down faster? Oh no, it's all good, Doug. I understand stuff happens, bro. Like life is real. Life's, bro. I got my own changes in life coming up. There are seasons where you'll see me disappear for a little bit on the channel, and then I'll come back when the time is right. So I appreciate you being here in the chat for sure. And I hope all is well. Definitely, I do. What do you think will help Ron slow down faster? Honestly, this may, I'll say this. When we get fully healthy, I mean Tobias back, Karras back, when we have Ivy back and we can move Duncan to the bench spot, and we have a Dennis, Duncan, Karras, Tobias, Paul Reed lineup, I would want to see Chaz Lanier and Ron Holland in the G League hooping with Bobby Clement. I want to see them in the G League, especially on nights when we're not playing, and they have an opportunity to get 30 plus minutes to just hoop, to just play freely, to go for it, show what they can do, because they need reps. They need reps. They need an opportunity to get out there with low stakes, to play freely, and find a rhythm. Ron Holland is not in a rhythm right now at all. And I think he just needs that freedom to like remind himself who he is, and come back up with that confidence. So when we get fully healthy, I think that would be an amazing opportunity for Ron Holland, Chaz Lanier, and Bobby Clement, and even Tolu Smith to play together and ball out. Yeah, Cole Anthony gets downhill off of a pick and roll. He can get to the cup, man. Cole Anthony is going to consistently pressure you. He gets this drag screen from what's his name, Jericho Sims. Andre Drummond and drop. He should know better. Cole Anthony has one of the better floaters in the game, and it's a bucket. See, Tennessee fan, I love the signing of Chaz. I live in Tennessee, and my NFL team is the Titans. They never pick an. Okay, okay. Yeah, I mean, I like Chaz Lanier. I think my number one choice was a little bit more, deep divey, but I think it's showing to be right. Um, this cat for the what's his name, plays for the Los Angeles Clippers. Trying to remember his name. It's who I wanted. He played for Colorado. He's like a 6'8" point forward who could shoot. Has a smaller wingspan, but could hoop. And I was like, ooh, I'm all about versatility and two-way play. Chazanier gives great effort defensively. He's just limited, and he's still learning the game too. But I appreciate his intensity, his competitiveness to compete on the defensive end, while he finds his rhythm with his jump shot. I do think he's the type of shooter who could be unleashed on this team. He could be our Duncan Robinson in the next 2 to 3 years because he's that level of shooter already. And once he finds his rhythm, once he gets into that space, he's going to be that guy who can just light it up. And you look at the range he's already comfortable shooting from. Chazanier should be a big time asset for us. And the fact that he's an older player as well bodes well, that he should mature fairly quickly. But I think some G League time would serve him well, to be able to really build his confidence, and really just kind of play free, an environment that's lower stakes. Philly moving the ball around against Milwaukee. They find a good shot for Andre Drummond. Look, Milwaukee has nothing for not just Andre Drummond, but Jalen Duren. They have no solution for our front court. I hope this is a game where we feed Duren early and often, and he looks to attack Miles Turner. Kobe Sanders, thank you. Thank you, is it just me? That's who I was referring to, Kobe Sanders for the Clippers. But yeah, Milwaukee has no solution for Jalen Duren. We should be, one, hitting the offensive glass hard against Milwaukee because they don't necessarily have the team speed to really be a threat like that. And slowing them down in terms of their transition offense should allow our defense to really put the clamps on them. So basically, like when you crash the offensive glass with multiple players, you force that opposing team to keep more players back to box out and secure the rebound. What that does is it prevents them from getting out in transition in numbers. That gives you more time for your defense to get set up as well. So when you look at a front court like Bobby Portis and Miles Turner, you're not looking at a team that necessarily is going to be able to really keep you off the glass. But this also requires Duren and Stewart. Paul Reed will be locked in, but Jalen and Isaiah to be locked in terms of what the scheme is. We're hitting the glass hard, like hard. Like every single time when you're in there, you're looking to get a tip out. You're looking to secure an offensive rebound and get a putback. You're looking to tip that ball back in. We need to have Milwaukee fully scared of our ability to dominate the glass. And considering that we took Atlanta for granted, we saw Onyeka Kongwu and Jalen Johnson was like, oh, we got it. 'Cause I think that was a lot of the comments. They were like, oh, we dominate on the interior. We dominate, teams there in the paint. You don't have to worry about it. This is what we do. And then Atlanta went out and out rebounded them. Good teams make the adjustment. Good teams know where you're weak at. And good teams force you into positions you don't want to be in. So what did Atlanta do? They forced our bigs away from the rim, running plays for Onyeka Kongwu to be able to get threes off, right? Put Isaiah Stewart, Jalen Duren in these positions where they're chasing to try to close out on opposing bigs, and that pulled them all the way out the paint. As a result, the guys who needed to rebound, like Asar Thompson, really didn't have a good rebounding game, especially in the first half. Guys like Ron Holland needed to rebound more, right? And then now we're depending upon guys like Duncan Robinson to rebound more and Cade. So we need to kind of understand what teams are going to try to do to negate our rebounding efforts. And we're going to need our wings and our guards to make more of a concentrated effort to grab and go. But this is where it also plays out to our advantage, which you've seen JB Bickerstaff make the adjustment and do. He has our bigs rim run every single time when their man shoots a three. If you don't know what rim running is, it's when you immediately in transition, you run straight to the front of the rim on your end, and you look to seal your man to get a post entry pass as we bring the ball up the court in transition. So by the time we get that rebound and we're pushing it up, you're already sealed your man before help defense can get there, and you catch the ball, you come to it, and you're 5 to 6 feet out from the rim, and you have a simple jump hook, turn, pivot, and knock it in. Miles Turner finally hits a three for the Milwaukee Bucks. So that is something that we can expect to see automatically. If Miles Turner and Bobby Portis are shooting threes, immediately Isaiah Stewart and Jalen Duren are rim running and looking to post whatever guard, whatever wing or forward or even center is back there with them. And they're going to bury them under the hoop because they're stronger, they're more physical, and we're going to look to get an early post touch right in front of the basket. Let's see. Now, similarly, you can exploit Miles Turner on the perimeter. He's not a good perimeter defender, especially in pick and roll. If he's up and he's not in drop, we should be attacking him the whole time. But in this game, what I really want to see is Cade Cunningham get to his spot. I want to see some plays for Cade Cunningham to get to his spot, to get to that free throw line, get that little, Let Dennis Jenkins enter the pass to you right on the elbow, and then give him that little turn face, one or two dribbles, bump with the shoulder, fade away, money. I want to see that a lot. Ryan Rollins continues to get downhill to the rim at will, especially coming off those screens. Yeah, we're gonna have to make sure that we contain. I'm trying to think of who do we want to put Asar Thompson on. I mean, if we have Dennis Jenkins, I trust Dennis Jenkins to contain Ryan Rollins. But Milwaukee's running some really good offense to free up Rollins to get downhill. So a lot of double screens, a lot of forcing you to choose and pick your poison between Miles Turner on a kick out and Ryan Rollins curling around a dribble handoff. Yeah, Rollins is hooping right now. I think, I would love uh, Downtown Deuce, if you're watching this, can you talk to their trainer again and ask them about Ryan Rollins and Dennis Jenkins and this matchup? Because I'm sure he has some really interesting insights into both of them and what they're capable of doing, why they're having such good seasons. 'Cause it's kind of a really dope story. Let me see. Rock, I hope Cole Anthony don't get a chance to take out Dennis Jenkins, our new backup point guard. I think he be on that haterade drink. Yeah, all right, man. I think Dennis Jenkins would hobble himself over to punch Cole Anthony in the face if he was to do that. I think he would get up on one foot and hobble over there and be like, I can't believe you did that, bro. Um, yeah. Bucks continue to execute, get good looks. Man, they just get the looks they want. Um, right now, they just don't have the talent. But Ryan Rollins, I think he has a really big second half in this game because he's getting where he wants. He just has to finish the shot. Kyle Kuzma out in transition. That 6'10" is real. He's very Jalen Johnson-esque. Maybe not as mature in terms of like leadership and reliability, but talent, very Jalen Johnson-esque. AJ Green doesn't really get off in this game, but he does present that prototypical 3 and D, 6'7" wing who's able to really bother a lot of perimeter offensive players while also making you pay on the defensive end by being able to knock down shots. He just doesn't get a lot of looks. He doesn't get the ball a lot right now. Let me see. You want to see Cade get his 50-point game? I would love it. I would love it. I ain't mad at that at all. It's dope to see a player go get 50. You know how hard that is? Um, let me see. What's going on here? Philly. Ooh, Miles Turner can't stay in front of Justin Edwards. If you can't stay in front of Justin Edwards, I don't know who you can stay in front of. I'll be honest. As a center, you definitely not staying in front of anybody that we got on the perimeter. Hopefully we see a more aggressive Asar Thompson from the beginning of the game. Locked in, playing with a lot of confidence. AJ Green, I think, was first open look. Bang, bang. Knocks down the three ball. We have got to pay attention to AJ Green. We have got to pay attention to him. I think that's who Cade Cunningham will likely be starting off on. Yeah. Let me see. Nick Van Exel just recently said, without JB Bickerstaff, Cleveland has lost their identity and toughness. Ooh. Ooh. I have to check that out because it's probably true. It's probably true. Look, I'm just telling you, look, I've said this before. I'm not one to, shut up and just play basketball and not bring, politics into sports because you don't separate life and reality. All of it is connected. And, prejudice, discrimination, stereotyping, all are real aspects of our life every single day. I know that as a black man growing up in just this world and studying it also in school and working in communities to try to create change. All this to say is in the realm of professional sports, it's 100% there. There is a real prejudicial approach to black coaches in the NBA. It's just 100%. If you haven't read any articles on it, please feel free to look it up. Where a lot of times black coaches are not perceived as intellectuals, not perceived as strategists, or not perceived as being able to think the game in X's and O's. They're seen or often characterized as rah-rah motivational coaches who are good with the players. Um, they can just motivate well, and they don't necessarily see them as people who develop systems and schemes and things of that nature. And so oftentimes it doesn't take much for them to get a label as not being a good enough coach. Now, I'm not saying every black coach is a great coach, right? Like Monty Williams was trash for us, right? Um, but it's to say that sometimes there are coaches who unfairly get undermined, who build up winning teams, winning franchises, and then when they're at the point of a potential championship, they find an excuse to fire them, and uh, it's really upsetting in a lot of ways. Whether it's Mark Jackson in Golden State, right? They make that run the very next year. Like you're telling me, Mark Jackson couldn't have brought in a coach to bring in an offensive system just like Steve Kerr did. Like, please believe, Steve Kerr did not implement that offensive system. Go look it up. He brings in as his lead assistant the head coach for the previous head coach of the Phoenix Suns, whom Steve Kerr had hired when he was the team president of the Phoenix Suns. And he instilled his offense. And Steve Kerr managed the players and stuff like that. You're telling me that Mark Jackson couldn't have done something similar? Right? These are things to keep in mind. Um, you have other coaches, whether it's like Dwayne Casey and what's his name, who's now with Philadelphia 76ers. What's his name? Y'all know who I'm talking about, the head coach for the Sixers. But Dwayne Casey built up the Toronto Raptors, had deep runs, like really deep runs. And finally we're about to break through. Are you telling me that Dwayne Casey couldn't get them over the hump now that they had Kawhi Leonard? Are you telling me this first time coach was so miraculous? Right? But so it's like that's how we kind of get done. JB Bickerstaff, whether when he was in Memphis, got a raw deal, when he was the interim, didn't get a chance to be the full-time head coach, even though he was winning with that roster. When JB Bickerstaff was in Cleveland, built that team up, made them into a winner, gave them a foundation, right? And then gets nixed out of there as soon as they think they have a chance to win a championship. Like this is a very common theme. But yeah, I wanted to make that point. I definitely want to check that video out though of Nick Van Exel bringing that up because that's a real point. That is a reality. Um, Let me see here. Uh, Official Ivy is coming back. When? When? Low budget gamer. When is Ivy said to be coming back? I'm very curious about that. Is it the next? I don't think it would be the next game, but who knows? Who knows? I hope he's not rushing. I hope he's not rushing. Yeah, is it just me with the inside? Mark Jackson was robbed. Mama, there goes that man. Facts. Facts. You don't have a guy build up a team only to immediately uh, nix them out of there, especially right after winning like Coach of the Year type of deal, being seen as one of the best coaches in the NBA. If you see there's an area where they need support or an opportunity for growth, you bring in the support. That's what you do. You don't fire them for not being everything, and then all of a sudden when they're gone, you're like, oh wait, the thing that he did, this new guy can't do, right? And I think that's what Cleveland might be figuring out. November 24th is the estimated Pistons Jack video. Is the estimate? Oh, from Pistons Jack video. Okay, that's when Ivy is projected to be back. Y'all let me know. Are they saying November 24th? Because that would be what, Monday's game? No, the 24th. Yeah, Monday. That'd be Monday's game. Okay, okay. I'm excited about that. I am excited about that. I'm curious, did they have him down with the Motor City Cruise? I would love to see some of that game film and look up, see if there's some highlights of Jaden Ivey playing with them. Yeah. So this game has gotten really good. It's the second half uh, of Milwaukee and Philadelphia. It's interesting that they start off the second half with Bobby Portis on the bench. So they don't start Bobby Portis in the second half. They elect to go a little bit smaller with Gary Trent Jr. And AJ Green, along with Ryan Rollins and Kuzma at the four. Maybe they are looking at Bobby Portis struggled mightily containing Paul George at the beginning of the game. These are the types of adjustments that you see teams make to counter what another team is doing. I don't think Milwaukee wanted to go into the second half and see Paul George get going again, because I think Paul George is on a minutes restriction as well. Even though he's supposed to be fully back healthy, they're just not going to ride him early on. They're going to let him get his legs back under him. And so, more than likely, Philadelphia would have wanted to establish him again at the beginning of the second half to maximize his minutes. But at that point, it is a now 5 point lead for the Milwaukee Bucks. And Kuzma is lined up against Paul George, a much better matchup. Oh, the Milwaukee's actually going zone here. That's interesting. Milwaukee's going zone. It seems to be working. I would not be shocked to see teams try to go zone against us and see if we can figure that out. Do we have the IQ? I don't know if we've seen a lot of zone. There's some substantial ways to beat zones that I think we can exploit. But that would be interesting to see Milwaukee go zone against us and how we fare against it. Can we get to that middle to collapse the defense and definitely hit the offensive glass? Yeah, we will find out. Drink some water here. So I don't think I need to watch the full game, but I will say this. Ryan Rollins gets it going. We just got a bucket right on cue. He gets it going. He ends up with 34 points, 14 assists, something like that. He's at 13 points, 8 assists right now in the third with 10 minutes to go in the third. So he turns it up, gets another 20 points to close out this game. He keeps him in it. Kyle Kuzma with a defensive lapse doesn't get a strong closeout on Paul George, who knocks down another three, brings them within two. There's a lot for us to exploit against Milwaukee, mainly a lack of interior physicality and toughness that we have an advantage on most teams with. They also aren't a team that can create for themselves a lot. So if we can put them in the difficult situation of playing solid enough defense that gets them to the end of shot clocks and then says, make a play against us. Rollins, Cole, Gary Trent, Kuzma. Try to create a play against Asar Thompson, Cade Cunningham, Isaiah Stewart. Try to beat us. But what we have to do is make sure that we're not bailing them out with fouls. Play solid. Make them make tough shots. If we make it that type of a game, forcing them to make tough shots while we get out in transition, it can be problems for them real quick. Like, we should be able to get to a double-digit lead, much like we've done against most of these teams. I might do another one tomorrow morning of the second half of this game to get some more of a review on what it would look like for us to take on the Bucks tomorrow evening. But yeah, I appreciate everybody for jumping in to the chat today. Yeah, I always like to leave us with a word of the day. A word of the day. Oh man, Doug McMenamin, I appreciate you joining me. I don't know if you're still in the chat, but I appreciate you showing. I appreciate you being real. Like, life has been happening, and life is real. Right? I always say that life is real. Like, life is real, and none of us get through it alone. One of the things that I've learned is that what helps us to get through life is being willing to acknowledge the hard times. When we can't acknowledge it, we don't allow ourselves to get to the next point of, now what do I need to do to support myself in the midst of this? How can I shape this experience to still get the things that I'm needing in my life out of it? How do I communicate so people have the right expectations of me, right? Like, if I can't accept my reality, I can't do nothing with it. And then you end up just, that person who everyone else can see is either going through it or needs help, and they're trying to front and act like everything's fine. Don't be that person. If you're going through some, reach out to someone. Talk to a friend, talk to a confidant, a mentor, a therapist, a counselor, a coach, uh, your partner, your family. Be open. Be open. Because I will say this: we would all want to be able to be there for someone that we care about, right? We would never want someone that we care about to be going through something and then they never tell us and they suffer in silence. Similarly, our loved ones also would never want us to suffer in silence. So if that's not a normalized part of your family, maybe it's time to make that a normalized part of your family. Be vulnerable, be open, and allow your relationships to be as deep as they can be. Don't suffer in silence. So with that, y'all enjoy the rest of your day. The sun has come out today, and I'm feeling amazing just seeing this sun. I'm about to sit out on my porch and kind of bask a little bit and hang out with my daughter. Probably watch some One Piece. With that, y'all have an amazing day. God bless, and I'm going to see y'all tomorrow. Peace.